Come on. Okay. Let's see what happens there. Video manager, let's look there. Okay, so okay. Come on. Okay. Sorry about taking so long. I'm trying to get wade through all these dumbass messages. Okay. So we go home. I don't know who's online, whatever. I haven't got to that yet. I'll be with you in a second. Online now. Got to put this up. Come on. Everything acts so slow when I'm streaming because it's taking so much data. Come on. New topic. 9 o'clock. And Control V. All right. I got that figured out so far. Should be able to. That's not what I wanted. Okay, I got it. All right. So I want to see who is how to get the video here. Maybe if I go to my broadcast booth, streaming. There we go. I want to get this up on the television here so I can see who's typing. Events. Come on. Stream is offline, it says. Events. Okay, it's live. Sorry, it's taking so long. Here we go. Copy video URL. There we are. And modify this. They've just made everything so difficult to do. Enter, enter. In the center. Control B. Join. To AOIN. Save. And we should be able to pull it up on the television now. We'll watch this on YouTube. Okay. Turn that off. I can't tell what's happening here. So we want to close this out. And we want to go here. God, unbelievably slow. Okay. Oh, there it is right there. Hang on. Nope, I don't want that. I want the, there we are. So we're going to turn the banner off now. Finally, I got back to where I need to be. Turn all this crap off here. These little speed things up. There we are. We got 2 viewers. Turn the banner off. And lower third, turn it off. Okay. All right, welcome to tonight's 55 and out movie. It's basically about rubbing. As you can see here, I got the airplane. It's all done. It's all put together. Fuel tanks in it. It's ready to fly. ½ ounce of tip weight. All the plumbing's in it. Mufflers. It's 55 ounces. I thought it was going to come out a little lighter. 55. That's just the way it is. I'll give you a little tour of what's happening. The front of this, the nose and the canopy has been urethane, and now my job is to take the wings, but this paint is still pretty fresh, so I can't really do it. But I have to do it good enough because I'm going to fly it this weekend to make it respectable. So I've sanded this panel with 1500, and I'm going to buff on it. I'd like to fly this in the contest in 2 weeks. Not this weekend, but next weekend. So it has to be decent. So this is the zen of buffing and sanding. It's not glamorous. It's the part that's the least fun, that takes the longest. But if you want a light airplane, let me see if we can get this on history. If you want a light airplane, and we did, okay. We're gonna have to turn the volume off. Mute. If you want a light airplane, you're going to have to sacrifice some of the shine for, weight. Let me turn this computer on over here to see if we got anybody chatting. I mean, I'm trying to set this up a whole lot different. Let's see here. My channel. YouTube, my channel. Video manager. Somebody was saying that, they wish the old forum was back. If you don't want to participate in the stream, that's okay. You don't have to join Google Hangouts. You just can't participate. This participation is is done through Google Hangouts. If you want to talk on here, if you want to hang out with me or whatever, you have to join Google and broadcast, because you're basically doing what I'm doing, only on your end, and we can talk back and forth. But you don't have to. If you go to Stunt Hanger with an A instead of with an E, each video that I do automatically uploads onto the main page every time that I do a video. So you don't even have to search YouTube. I'm making it easier for everybody. And I should have put in the link. Now let's talk about the shirts. I didn't get the order in on the shirts today. Kind of got busy doing some other things. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Sit down. We got over 24. So I can do that. So if you want a shirt, better order it tonight or in the morning, because come tomorrow, I'm going to order them, and that'll be the end of that. I'll probably trim this movie when it uploads, meaning that all that dead time at the beginning of the reel here, I'll cut off so you don't have to sit and just look at the airplane. I think I took about 5 minutes getting it all sorted out. Now, from time to time, you'll see some people swap in and out of this thing. I'm running 3 computers. This computer over here is where I can see the chat. The computer over there, where the camera's coming from, is the server, and then the monitor over here. So it's kind of hard to run all this crap. But anyway, let's get down to what I do as far as sanding. You'll notice this is not really boned out. You can't bone it out because the paint isn't dry enough yet. But I don't want to go to the field with a rag-looking airplane. So I'm going to at least make it presentable, but it won't be 100%. It'll take a month. It'll take a month to polish this airplane. That's why I'm not polishing airplanes for anybody. So what I do is I get the first round, we go with 1500 sandpaper. Pretty expensive stuff. It's about $7 for 5 sheets. Ridiculous. I remember when sandpaper was a dime. Then after the 1500 and the first buffing, and that's where we're going to get to today. In a week or so, I'll come back and I'll sand it with 2000 because the paint will be harder, and then rebuff it, and then we'll live with that for a while. And then all throughout the summer and the future months, I'll bone it out one time with 5000 and completely buff the whole airplane. I know that sounds like a ridiculous amount of work, and you can put a cheap a cheating lacquer job on the fuselage with urethane, and boy, it looks good. It looks like plastic, but the weight difference is immense. So I can't hear what the drill's going to sound like because I have all the sound off. We got many viewers. We got 5 viewers. If the sound gets obnoxious, tell me. Tell me on screen or type it in the chat box, because I have that open, and I'll shut the mic off so it's not obnoxious. But I have and I've showed this before, I have a 3-inch 3M pad on a drill. And it's the same kind of pad, foam pad, that a car buffer is. And I have a regular full-size variable speed Makita car buffer. But if you've ever used a car buffer, you'll know that it's kind of difficult to maneuver because it's so big, and especially around this is a pretty delicate, thing. If you don't have somebody helping you, holding the airplane, if the buffer were to catch the wing, the trailing edge or leading edge or whatever, it would have flipped this plane across the room and destroyed it. Don't ask me how I know that, but I do. So, same principle, just different, smaller equipment. They make a little smaller grinder type thing. That's well and good. Now, all I have for compound tonight is this Finesse-It. Finesse-It really is a finishing compound. It's pretty fine. I think it's about a 5,000 compound. It doesn't really say what it is. It might, I'll have to search it or whatever. Very expensive stuff. $26 a bottle. So you don't need a whole lot. Remember, this has been sanded, and I've made mention several times, and it's not really sanded good enough because the paint's not hard enough. That's why it will take several times to do this. But I've made mention several times on what makes my airplane shine. Sandpaper. And then this here brings the shine out. So, a little on here, I gotta do this here. When you're bumping these things, you're trying to heat the paint up. So you got to have some compound on it. You're melting the paint is basically what you're doing. You got to give it hot enough, but you don't want to burn it. Because if you burn it, then you got to repaint it. So keep the pad moving at all times. When it starts to look like it's drying out, stop. Because you will burn it if it's dry. It's better just stop and then add some more compound. And you keep repeating this process until it has the shine that you desire. And a paint job, and especially a paint job in urethane, only looks like this because it's smooth. The reflection is what you're looking at. You're not, if it had a bunch of orange peel or pits or whatever, it wouldn't look like this. So you want to do the whole airplane. You got to sand it until everything is 100% smooth. And I mean there's zero orange peel in it when you're sanding. And this is why it's difficult to do this process right now because the paint is soft. But we're going to get it close enough that I can go fly it. I start out slow. Anybody that's ever met me has asked me, why do I have lines going across my belly? Well, it's just compound. Oh, okay, one thing I'll mention, stay off the cat strips. You're gonna have to rub those by hand. Now, some of you know, I painted some of this urethane, the nose and the top back here, urethane, and the rest is dope. And you'll say, well, won't you be able to see that? Not really. I shot it with thinner to melt it. You guys remember seeing that yesterday? Maybe I didn't show that, I don't know, but I blended it. And then I sanded it. Today, you know, you're sanding off the overspray, that's what you're trying to do, to make it blend from one to the next. And then we're rubbing it so that we polish it all out. And like I say, this will take several times because this has got a shine to it, but it's not that shine like my Monado has where it's shiny, like the nose here, because the paint's not hard enough. But it'll be good enough to get out and fly. See how it works. It's not a 20-pointer, but it ain't bad. I think it's got some grain showing. But I'd rather have grain showing and it be light than have it loaded up and it be 70 ounces. The swing is around 700 squares. At 55 ounces, that's a pretty good wing loading. You have to ask Brett Buck. He's the expert mathematician, not me. Brett's forte is math, and he's good at it. I'm just a that looks about right kind of guy. And after you build enough of them, that Creo, that looks about right, will work just about every time. Now I'm gonna talk a little bit about what are my moments on this. I ended up a little short on the tail moment, but that's okay because it balanced in a good spot. Tail moment's at 16 inches. It was supposed to be 16 and a quarter, give or take. The nose moment is 10 and a quarter, but the motors move back 3/4 of an inch, so it's really 9 and a half. And you think, well, how can that be? Well, that's where the center of mass of the engine is, because it's pushed back. And that really made for a nice looking cowl apparatus. Then, if you remember, I notched the wing all the way back to the bell crank. So the tank is pushed all the way back to the firewall. And you think, well, how's it going to balance that way? It balances that way because it doesn't weigh a lot. If it went up in weight anymore, we'd have to add more nose weight to get it to balance. And then you're back to the, I guess, the Galdini barbell effect. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something there. Got a good blend there. Well, I hope somebody comes on and talks to me. So, I got some more sanding to do. It's didn't quite blend right, so I'll give you my Zen on sanding. I really like that these blue towels and this turtle wax, wax and dry. There's silicone in it or something, I don't know. I'm not as I think it's silicone, but you still can dope over it. It won't fisheye, so it's something weird. So if I have a repair or whatever, I can dope right over the top of it. I just wipe it with some Windex and shoot some paint on it. So basically what I have here, even though I've been rubbing on this, is a finish that doesn't look 100% mirror, but it's relatively shiny. $16, 17 points. It's about all you're going to get out of an airplane like this until you get it all rubbed out. And then you gotta wonder, you gotta ask yourself, is it worth all the trouble for the extra 1 point? Shoot some water on it. I use Windex a lot. You can use that. 1500. And I was watching this old car, Cage. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was them other Click and Clack, the Tappet brothers, or I don't know, some of them guys. And they were talking about the Zen of sanding. And that's exactly what this is right here. The Zen of sanding. I was asked by Tom Morris if I like to sand. And I've been sanding, you know, over 50 years. Just it's a stupid thing, but what I do. You like to sand? Yep, I do. It just gives me enjoyment to stand there and sand. Rub on something. What really gives me the enjoyment is when I get this all done and I set it down on the floor and I go, wow, look what I made for nothing. And that's what I like doing. You know, some people aren't into that, but it was the same kind of with me for motorcycles, except with motorcycles, you don't make all the pieces. So you're just bolting together crap that somebody made. And that's not really a big deal. About the only thing that that's really creative in motorcycling is if you're welding and making parts, machining parts, and the paint job. But if you're a mechanic like I was and just putting them together, so I'm rubbing this with a piece of 1500, and you want to get it till it's all flat. And you'll know when you get it all, because all the little orange peel marks will go away, and then it's polish time. But this paint is only a day old, so it's very soft. But I wanted to get this polished up. I did that the same day it was done. Because if urethane gets too hard, it's a bitch. It's tough to sand and tough to polish the way that you can't hand polish it. You got to machine polish it. So we got that pretty close there. I guess nobody's going to join me tonight. See, I'm blending the urethane paint now into the dope so that you can't tell the difference where one started and the other one begins. And the only way to do that is by sanding. Because you'd never rub on it long enough to do it. Just little circles. The water actually washes the material out of the sandpaper, so the more you flood it, the better it sands. Yeah, it looks pretty good. I'll try that. Like I say, if we can just get it close enough that I can fly it this weekend and not be embarrassed, we can worry about what it looks like in a couple of weeks when the paint's hard. And the more retarder that you put in it, the softer the paint is as well. If you're getting, when you're sanding and you're going around and you're getting any balling up of the material, it's way too soft. I was talking about this Finesse It. Very expensive, $26 a pint, I guess that's what that is. 16, no, it's a quart. No, it's a pint. So it's very expensive for that. It's really not a cutting rubbing compound. It's a polishing. It's a finish. But because the paint is so soft, if I use something with more tooth to it, you could burn it real easy. So I'd rather go at it slow and bring it up, and we can do it several settings. So I'll keep polishing until somebody joins me, and if somebody doesn't join me here in the next 10 minutes, we'll shut it off and wait for tomorrow night. I'll tell you what I'll do when I get this polished. I'll try to bring the camera in close and show you what I'm talking about. Blending. That turned out good. I'm happy with that. You know what? I'll move this around here. Oh, I know. Need a longer cord. Yeah, that's better. The next project on my list is this airplane hanging up over here. It's a classic Continental. I'll finish that up, and then we can go back to painting the last 4 of the other jobs, and I'm out from under that. So I'm seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. It's just taking a while. Carry on. Okay, I'll get the camera over here, and we'll see what you can see. And it will take several settings doing this to make it nice. You know, you're watching me do this one time. What people need to get a grip on is I'll be doing this for the next month, every day a little bit. But we want to get it good enough to fly. And oh, we got a little bit of spot right there that didn't blend. And how you can tell that it didn't blend is it just, I don't know, it has a funny look to it. So in order to get that look out of there, you got to sand it off. And then repolish it. And it's only in 3 spots here, so. And you can hear it even. That's 1. Two. I started doing this only painting the fuselage nose and the cowl a few years ago, and it's worked out pretty good because you got to have fuel proofing on the cowl and on the nose. And my Thunderbolts were all urethane, and that's what killed them. And I just didn't want to kill any more airplanes with I almost did it to this one, but Gary had that retarder. Thankful for that. So, looks like I got it. So we'll try to polish the dullness out of that spot that I just sanded, and then that should have got the blend. And I'll see if I can show it to you. But all this out here, you can see all that unevenness. And even though I did sand it and polish it one time, I can't really do it till it dries out because the paper loads up. Okay, the blend looks like it probably got it. When I show you this, I'm going to explain to you that I will get the whole airplane to look like the nose eventually. Yep, I got it. Close enough. Close enough. Guess Chris is sleeping tonight. My Canadian friend is missing. My friend from Canada, or Kansas, Swift. He needs to get a camera. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull a camera over. Or maybe I'll bring the airplane over and we'll see how that works. Gotta get another towel. Good thing I bought 6 rolls last time. Guess I knew I was gonna be buffing, so. I did urethane the fillets to keep from any lifting, any goofy fillet bubbles. They drive me nuts. Let's see here. Okay, if you look at the nose, you can see how shiny this nose is. And there's very few imperfections in the nose. But if you look out here at the wings, like, let's see, I guess it's, that's the XL side. Like right in here, you can see that there's grain and things like that. Well, I'll be waiting for that to dry so that I can sand that grain out. And my job is to make this whole airplane look just like the nose here and the canopy. And let's see, I saw a spot there. And you just, every night, you just sit down and sand and rub a little more. Like right here, you can see that the blend didn't take, I didn't get it all sanded in. It's shiny here and then dull there. Well, I got to sand the dull off and then polish it. So, and that's the secret to a light paint job. A paint job is just not paint. A paint job is, you know, well, I see somebody asked a question over there. A paint job is all this other business that I'm doing, rubbing. Not familiar with the term, bone it out. Okay, Jim, bone it out is I will, when this dries, the paint dries enough so that I can bone it out. I will take 5,000 grit sandpaper and I will sand the whole airplane until it's completely flat. It looks like milk bone. And that's where the term bone it out comes from. And then I'll repolish it again. And you know, when the paint job is done, the sanding is really just beginning, because there's as much sanding afterwards as there is during, maybe more. But it's a different type of sanding. It's not a shaping sanding, and it's not a real aggressive type sanding. It's what I've been showing you here. It's just that meticulous hand sand, look at it, you know, rub it until it shines. And that's the only way you can get a light airplane. 55 ounces what this weighs. Trust me, I could set up the scale and prove it, but that's what it weighs, 55 ounces. So I'm real happy. It's a Billy weight. So we'll see if I can fly it. I guess that's his design weight. 55s. Anyway, I thought I'd bring you a little bit of what I'm doing tonight in the shop. Nobody's joined me. I guess and I've been talking now 45 minutes. Kind of difficult to do. I'll try to make a few more movies instead of these streams. Tomorrow I'll make a movie on that Continental where I'm doing the landing gear doors and getting ready to align it. Well, there's only so many steps to an airplane. I don't know how many times I can show that over and over again. Sanding, aligning, molding, you know, and painting. I mean, the same thing over and over and over again. So, you know, probably pretty bored watching me do the same thing. But some people like it. I'm getting an RC following where the RC guys are starting to come over and watch this, because I guess they're starting to build again. And there's nobody building. It's all arts. So I'm going to shut the stream off. I'll see you tomorrow. Till I see you again, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.